Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is your brother Luqman here, and today I want to share with you my journey in learning to read the Quran in the Arabic text, how I learnt tajweed, the proper pronunciation, and so basically after I became Muslim, I learnt how to read Surah Fatiha or how to say it in my prayers and stuff like that, and learnt a bit of the Arabic alphabet. But it didn't go far from there. It wasn't until a while later, maybe after a couple of years when I became more sort of practicing, then I started to go deeper and learning how to really read the Quran in Arabic text. So basically, how it all started is I had a Muslim neighbor. I was living with some roommates at the time, some Muslim roommates, and our neighbor was an Algerian brother. And he lived with his family. May Allah reward them, may Allah bless them. Amazing family. So the father would come over to our place next door, and we had other brothers that were learning to read Quran as well, and we'd all join together. So we had these classes, like I can't remember how many times a week it was, but basically how we learned was we learned with these Iqra books. So a lot of you have probably seen these. Maybe some of your children are learning from these right now in madrasa, or you're teaching it to them, but some of you maybe have not seen these before. And I really want to, for those that are learning to read Quran, new Muslims or even Muslims that they don't know how to read yet, I want to share with you how I learned. So basically I have this Iqra book here. Okay, that's book 1. There's 6 of these books. So basically, here's book 2, and I'll just show you in book 1 how it just starts with the letters, okay? Now I'm not going to show you the first page because my daughter or my son, one of them, I don't know if they got some paint in it or they kind of destroyed it. So basically I'll just skip through the pages and you can see the letters Dal and Jim, Ha, Kha, and it all has the Fatha, which is the line on the top. For those of you that don't know, that line on the top is called the Fatha, so it makes like an A sound. So Kha, Ha, Ja, okay? And then it slowly advances when you go through the books. Those letters start to join together and become words. So you see here, 3-letter words. They start to join together. That's book 2. And book 3, what do we have in book 3? Okay, so we have from 3-letter words going to 4-letter words. And then we also have the kasra. The kasra is the line at the bottom, if you can see there, the kasra, which makes an it sound for those of you that don't know. So we have the letter sheen there, and it has a kasra at the bottom, so that becomes she. So instead of sha or shu, it's she because it has the kasra at the bottom. Okay, so then we have book 4. Starts to get a bit more intense. So we have longer words now, or words joining together. And then book 5. And basically we have words from Quran in there. And then the last one, 6, which is basically sentences from the Quran. There you go. So for those of you that are learning, don't be afraid. These books are amazing. I advise you get all of these books and you start learning, but also with a teacher as well, because you need to learn the proper pronunciation. If you just try and do it yourself and you're looking at transliteration, which is the English text of the Arabic words and how to pronounce it with the English text, it doesn't really work properly. You're not going to get the right pronunciations, which is the makharij. The makharij is where each Arabic letter, it's pronounced from the mouth and the throat and also through the nasal as well, through your nose. So with certain sounds like ghunna. So basically, you want to make sure you're learning correctly from a proper teacher. It's very, very important that you're pronouncing each letter properly. So yeah, anyways, so I started with this group. Alhamdulillah, it was going very well. But after a few months, it stopped. I think everyone just sort of got busy, and basically we weren't doing the classes anymore. And I ended up moving away from that house that I was living in as well. And then moving forward, a while later, I ended up going back to the same teacher, and we were meeting inside of a masjid. And then we went back to the books. Alhamdulillah, we started the books again. And then after a while, for some reason, it stopped again. So in total, it took quite a while. I think maybe it might have taken like 2 years or something. But that's only because I had these big breaks in between, and I wasn't really fully committed at that stage. So Alhamdulillah. But with that teacher, I did end up getting up to. His name is Brother Halim, by the way. He's Algerian. MashaAllah, may Allah bless him. He has 2 sons that are Hufad. They've memorized the Quran, MashaAllah. Allahumma barik lahum. So with Brother Halim, I got up to book 6, which is the final book. But we didn't complete it. I think we just started it. And then for whatever reason, I stopped again. I don't know why. Okay, I can't remember why, but I stopped again. Maybe it's from Shaitan, and he was just trying to, pull me away. And obviously, the greatest dhikr, the greatest remembrance of Allah Subhanahu wa Taala is the Quran, is reciting the Quran, reading the Quran. Anyways, so moving forward a bit later on, the masjid that I started to attend, which is the Slacks Creek Mosque here in Brisbane, which is led by Imam Akram Baksh, Muhammad Akram Baksh. He's the Imam there, close friend of mine, Alhamdulillah. May Allah bless him, may Allah reward him for his amazing efforts that he does for the community. So basically he started a Quran adults class. Now this was the first Quran adults class at the masjid. The masjid was a relatively new masjid, because it had just been bought. It was a church previously, converted into a masjid. Alhamdulillah, amazing masjid. I'll make some videos of the masjid there when I'm there, InshaAllah. And so basically, I started in this adult Quran class. And I told Imam Akram, I told him, and he sort of tested me as well. That I was up to book 6. So. I thought I was ready to finish book 6 and just jump onto the Quran, the Mus'haf. But because Imam Akram, mashallah, he's amazing reciter of Quran. His tajweed is excellent. He's an amazing teacher. He can recite in all the different forms of the recitations, mashallah, many of the forms. And so basically, he got me to start back at book 1. He got me to do the little baby steps again, because he wanted to make sure that every letter was perfect. That's how important it is that we recite the Quran of proper tajweed. A lot of Muslims out there, they don't have the proper tajweed because they haven't learnt properly, whether it's because of cultural and where they're from, and the letters, they're familiar with the Arabic letters, but because of their native tongue, the pronunciation isn't right, because it's not, it has to be the proper Arabic. It has to be of the proper tajweed, the proper pronunciation. So basically, yeah, I was in this adult Quran class, and I started back at book 1, but I went through very quickly because I already done it all before, Alhamdulillah. And also just a tip that I want to share with those of you that are learning or about to learn is the most important thing is consistency. If you want to get through it, fairly quickly, obviously you don't need to rush it, but it can be a lengthy sort of process, especially if you're not native to the Arabic language like myself, being from Australia, and English is my first language. So really consistency is the key. And one thing that I used to do that really helped me to excel was basically when I would finish a book. So let's say I finished book one. When I'd finish book one and I would go into book two, I'd start book two with the teacher, but in my own time at home, I'd go back to book one and I'd go to the beginning and I'll just go through it as quickly as I can and just make sure that the pronunciation is perfect, and I'll just try and use like speed to go through quickly, and maybe I'd do it a second time as well, and then I'd just go back to my book two and just practice, revise the book two and be ready for the teacher. And I did the same thing with each book. I'd complete book two and then I would go to book three and in my own time go back to book two, start book two again, fly through it. And then so that really helped me to excel, and Alhamdulillah I was actually the first one of the students to complete the course, to complete the classes basically. And Alhamdulillah, there was also theory in the class. So we learned the makharij, where the tongue should be placed on the teeth, and the whether it's on the top of the mouth or to pronounce each letter. I know that sounds a bit scary, and it's like whoa, like what are you talking about? Like for those of you that don't know yet, but look, it's not difficult. Basically, we had a sheet of paper, and it's not how everyone learns, but it just gives you like a visual. If you have a picture of a diagram and the mouth and the tongue where it needs to be, and which part of the mouth and the throat the letters are coming from, because we have letters that come from the mouth itself, but we have letters that come from also the throat as well, like ayn and kha, the top of the throat. So to get the proper sounds, you got to find that spot in the mouth and in the throat. And then also there's other letters as well, rulings with the tajweed, where it becomes like nasal and the sound comes from your nose. Alhamdulillah, I completed those classes, and then I moved on to the mushaf, and I was reading with the Imam Akram from the mushaf, and Alhamdulillah, that's basically it. That's sort of my journey summarized on how I learnt to read the Quran. Alhamdulillah, it was an amazing journey. I'm so happy that I was able to get through it, and it was difficult at times. There will be challenges along the way. It's not meant to be all easy. It requires effort and consistency, and of course shaitan, he will try and pull you away. He's going to try, he doesn't want you to recite the words of Allah, because when you recite the words of Allah, he goes away. He doesn't want to be around. He gets basically it's like he's getting punched in the face. Alhamdulillah. Basically that's it. For those of you that are learning, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for you on your journey. If you have any questions or anything, you can reach out to me. You can my email you can find through the YouTube. It's aussiemuslim89@gmail.com. If you want any advice, and also brothers and sisters, if you could please subscribe to the channel and support the dawah. This channel is for dawah purposes. I'm really trying to help fellow Muslim brothers and sisters that are out there, with advice, nasiha, and also calling others to Islam as well. So InshaAllah, I have big plans for this channel. Alhamdulillah, I'm very excited. And that's it for now. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.